All right. Hello, everyone. This is the Swing Trader Technical Analyst here recording for you. Today, we're going to review Air Canada, a stock that has been making significant moves in the past few weeks or even months. Like as you can see, we're going to start analyzing this from a technical analysis perspective and from a point of view of doing a swing trade with it, or whether we should maybe not do any. So we're starting a monthly chart. Not a lot of traders look at the big picture. Here, the first thing I'm gonna do is simply select this whole range that seems to be marking the movements of the past years since actually 2020. After COVID, with this huge decline, it's just been going to this range back and forth. We could even close this a bit here. That being said, it's possible that it could stay in the range, so we have to keep that in mind, that it coming back down. Nevertheless, we see a strong upside or emotional buying coming in from the past few months, and we could also merge that with some volume at the bottom. You see how the volume started spiking here in the monthly, and it closed November very strong, which leads me to believe that there is a high potential, high probability that this could cross this to the upside, and we could expect something like this to follow through. Now, that being said, let's look at a deeper analysis. Another awesome thing to consider is that if the Air Canada has been here already, there's a high possibility that it could come all the way back here to those 2019 highs. So we have a long-term target here. First, let's go to the weekly now, and we see some base in action happening in the past few weeks. As what it looks like this week made new highs and seems to be getting ready to break, like we were proposing as a potential probability. This stacks the odds towards that. Price is definitely above the 200 moving average and the 50 moving average. This is weekly again. If we were to determine a trend, we need to pay attention to the fact that it did do new lows beforehand, maybe obviously stop doing new lows there, and now coming up with new highs. But to be honest, that trading that weekly chart is more of a ranging just because of this new low from a technical analysis perspective. And we have all this action from the past coming through, perhaps weighting down a little bit on the possibility of this coming out. So this is a great time to just wait for this potential breakout, offering you the potential trade to the upside of a breakout trade, or maybe breakout. And some traders like myself actually prefer to wait for that. This is a confirmation and waiting for the pullback, which not always it does. And then trying to take that putback. Yeah, let's look into the daily. Coming to the daily, the story is more positive since definitely we have this uptrend going, ups and downs, ups and downs. The last down or pullback was this guy over here, which leads us to create some, let's call this support, as many traders call it. I don't like to just put a line. I prefer to determine a range where it could have that support from. So I'm gonna just take that last candle over there. I really like it actually as a possibility of a pullback over here, meaning that if this breaks, like we were talking about, to the upside, I could wait for a pullback all the way over here. This is very conservative if it actually does get here, but there's always that possibility. I see another gap. If the markets were to turn around, there's a possibility of coming to this gap over here at this area and getting a pullback from there too. The strength is strong. So my suggestion here, as it did new highs right now, is just trying to see how it closes the rest of the week before taking any action. I'm just mark these last few highs that couldn't cross. And this day, today, actually, December 4, it closing above shows us that sign of strength to the upside. Now, this is not much necessarily by volume. Let me just expand the volume pane right here. If you notice, the volume over here was not as high as the prior days, yet we want to just maybe then wait and sit tight for a little bit longer before this makes any moves. The potential here is fantastic, just as we saw. It could go all the way to those prior heights in 2019. If that was not the case, I also like to identify weekly areas where we could aim to have our first targets. We could say that this prior high here could be a nice target for our daily trade of the breakout. So this will offer this opportunity to put a target also over here as a trader. And that could offer a fantastic trade. If it were to come back down to this area, we could look at a trade that looks like this, potentially some stop loss below that, or we could even make it below that prior low right here. If we extend this to our target, this has the potential to offer us a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which is actually pretty decent. So stay tuned, continue looking at that Air Canada stock, see how it moves. You may want to take some sides to the upside coming up. Now, always, 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 it's important to remember that no matter where you take the trade or when you want to do it as a breakout or on a pullback, to have a stop loss. Never forget to put your stop loss. With that being said, I'll close this video. Have a good one, guys. Cheers. Happy green trades.